recapping Week 14 in the Mountain West. The end of the regular season is upon us, and it's time to break down Week 14 in the Mountain West. Hey, JY back with the Big Mountain. Great to have you with us. The final one of these regular season recap videos I'm going to be doing here for quite some time. Let's get to it. Week 14, we'll go chronologically, which means we start with Air Force versus Colorado State. Air Force, the big winner here, 42-21. Total yards of offense, 420 to 335. Third downs, Air Force, 11 of 15, which is very good. Colorado State, only 2 of 11, which is very bad. Time of possession here, 40 minutes, almost 41 minutes, goes to Air Force, and less than 20 minutes of offensive time for the Colorado State Rams. That's exactly what Air Force tries to do to their opponents, and that's how they win big in games. Here, 42-21. Josh Johnson back under center for the Falcons as Zarka was lost due to injury several weeks ago. He finishes a perfect 4 for 4 in the air, 104 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 10 times for 22 yards and another touchdown. Both of his passing touchdowns went to the tight end Fleischman, who had a fantastic season this year. He had 2 catches for 61 yards. Of course, again, both of them being the touchdown catches. On the ground, Allen had 107 yards on 25 carries and 2 touchdowns. Hodges also had a rushing touchdown. He finishes with 14 carries on 87 yards. Looking at the Rams, Jackson Brousseau back under center here. He had lost that job to Curry, but Curry suspended for this game due to that spitting incident that he had last week versus Boise State. So Brousseau finished 28 of 37 for 323 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really nice numbers for this kid. He just wasn't on the field enough. Lanier and Beers had the 2 receiving touchdowns. Avant had the rushing touchdown on 3 carries. Colorado State only ran the ball 9 times in this game. They got 12 yards on those carries, but when you're not out there much and you're behind in a game, you're not going to be able to get your running game going, so only 9 carries here for the Rams. Shifting gears to the middle game on Friday and the game of the week, and what a game it was. New Mexico versus San Diego State. New Mexico pulls out the win in double overtime, 23-17. An incredible game to watch, both on TV and for the over 32,000 people in attendance there at University Stadium. What Jason Eck and this Lobos team has done this year is nothing short of incredible. He also, Coach Eck, it was just announced, got a raise and a 5-year contract from UNM. So he's going to be back. I love what he's doing down there in Albuquerque, and I'm anxious to meet him again at the Mountain West Media Days in about 7 months in Vegas. But let's get back to this game. Total yards here, the Aztecs actually outgaining the Lobos, 355 to 308. San Diego State, they turn the ball over twice, and UNM only turns it over once. The first overtime here led to turnovers by both teams. On the very first play, Denegal throws an interception to UNM, so things are looking really good for the Lobos. They're moving the ball. They're well within field goal range, getting it down inside the 5-yard line. But Lobstein, who carried the ball quite a bit in this game, actually fumbles on the 3-yard line and turns the ball back over to the Aztecs. New life for San Diego State. So, of course, now the Lobos start with the ball in the second half. They only need 1 play. They score a touchdown on a pass to Keith. In he goes for a 25-yard reception. Most of those were yards after the catch, but he got outside, ran down the sideline into the end zone. They score the touchdown. Then San Diego State gets the ball. They have to respond. They struggle a bit, and then they have 3 straight false start penalties, which completely doomed their effort. After each one, just like you have at a home stadium, the crowd got louder. They knew they were involved. They were pushing the Aztec offense backwards. 3 straight false starts and just unable to score any points. So UNM wins this incredible game there for Lobo Nation. Jack Lane ends 14 of 25 for 127 and a touchdown. As I said coming into this game, he's not going to set the world on fire, but he controls this offense really well. It's one of those, we're not asking you to do too much. Just control what you're able to control, and that's what he does. They also, as I mentioned, used Lobstein quite a bit in this. He ran very effectively. He had 70 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. McKinney also had a rushing touchdown on 4 carries. He broke open a very nice long rush there in the game. And as I mentioned, Keith had the lone receiving touchdown there in the second overtime. Denegal was 14 of 24 for 162. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Lucky Sutton, really their main form of offense for this team. He had 22 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. The 1 receiving touchdown went to Donovan Brown. San Diego State defense, which is who they have been leaning on here throughout this entire season, ends with 7 sacks. And Niles King had 2.5 of those. Owen Chambliss was the leading tackler here for the Aztecs. For the UNM defense, Combs and Eck led the way. They combined for 23 tackles, and the team finishes with 4 sacks. Just an awesome game to watch. It's exactly what you are hoping for. I'm sure the Aztec fans were disappointed, obviously, in the outcome. But me being just an overall Mountain West fan, when you have this type of setup and this type of game, almost a win and you're in situation. I'll get to that here at the end. But what a phenomenal atmosphere and a phenomenal game for the Mountain West. Just loved watching it. So let's get to the last game on Friday, Boise State versus Utah State. This was another very important game for the postseason championship play. And Utah State here looked really good in the first half. They led at the halftime 21-13, but they could only muster up 3 points in the second half. Part of that being because they chose to go for it at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They went for it on 4th down. They were at the Boise 12-yard line. They get stopped, actually lose yards on that play. Very costly decision, which, possibly those 3 points would have made them win this game 27-25. So, that you look at that one key play where they didn't get the first down and they really struggled to get offense in the second half. That may have been the turning point for USU not winning this game, and which causes then Boise to win the game and be able to advance into the championship game. Total offense here, not surprising, 512-405. Each team did turn the ball over once. Cutforth looked the most comfortable I've seen him since he's been playing here as the starting quarterback in replace of Maddox Madsen. He went 26 of 49, yes, 49 throws in this game, 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. The receiving touchdowns went to Brown and Wagner. I will say Marshall, the wide receiver, he had a rough game, was dropping several passes. And honestly, Cutforth, 26 of 49, it should have been better than that. Marshall did not help his quarterback at all. Really didn't help the team at all in this game. The leading rusher was Riley, just a phenomenal talent here, this young kid coming in. He had 120 yards on 25 carries and a touchdown. Talking about the Aggies now, Barnes was 13 of 31 for 184. He also rushed 18 times for 89 yards and a touchdown. Jacobs and Davis also have rushing touchdowns. Jacobs was the leading rusher with 92 yards on 5 carries. That's because he broke open that 56-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. And by the end of the game, the Utah State offense just didn't have any more. Barnes was basically trying to do everything he could. When they did have large positive games, they were getting called back on penalties. The team, honestly, outside of Barnes, just kind of looked tired on offense. They couldn't get things done. And that's where that, going for it on fourth down in the fourth quarter really kind of doomed Utah State in this game. Let's switch over to the 3 games on Saturday. The first one being the battle for the Fremont Cannon, and it was not much of a battle as UNLV dominates Nevada from start to finish, 42-17, total yards 496 to 341. UNLV was 5 of 7 on third downs. That's a great percentage, but only having to go for it 7 times on third tells you how well they did on first and second downs in this game. Both teams did turn the ball over twice. Let's talk about UNLV first. Calandria, he was 15 of 22 for 270 yards, very efficient. 1 touchdown pass. He did have 2 interceptions in this game, which you don't like to see as they gear up for a Mountain West Championship game, but he also carried the ball twice for 27 yards and another touchdown, that dual threat coming into play yet again. Didn't have to use his legs too much in this one because they were so efficient throwing the ball. Jet Thomas, though, he was supersonic, Jet Thomas, in this one. He had 11 carries for 103 yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. Also caught 3 passes for 24 yards. He was just phenomenal. His speed was very evident in this game. And again, 4 touchdowns for this kid. Receiving touchdown went to O'Meara, and Bradley was the leading receiver, 71 yards on 3 catches. The defense had 3 sacks. Of course, they were led by McDuffie, the linebacker, and Pope, the safety. In terms of Nevada, Carter Jones, 17 of 25 for 105. Ramsier carried the ball 15 times. He did have 2 touchdowns. Carpenter and Thomas were the leading receivers here for the Wolfpack. They both had 5 catches, just not enough against this super-powered UNLV Rebel team, who is now going to be headed to the Mountain West Championship game. Fresno State versus San Jose State. No Walker Eget in this one as he was injured a week or 2 ago. E.J. Warner, who came back in to be the starter for Fresno last week, continued to be the starter. Tons of turnovers in this game. San Jose State, 5 turnovers. Fresno, 3 turnovers, but Fresno, again, able to just really dominate things here, both in terms of their defense and their running game. 41-14, not much of a game as Fresno State had their way with the Spartans. Again, Fresno taking that early lead, 21-7 at the half. They never looked back. Warner had another really good game, finished 15 of 20 for 138, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He can't get away from those interceptions. But Gilliam here, 9 carries for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ramirez also had a rushing touchdown. Freeman was the leading receiver. He had 76 yards on 6 catches and a touchdowns, and 5 interceptions by this defense. Harris had 2. Tierney had 1, Davis had 1, and Hamilton had 1. Just a field day there for the Bulldog defense, turning the ball over again and again and again. San Jose State used both Ward and Amisoni here at quarterback. Neither really had any success. They finished 10 for 30 for 106 yards and 5 interceptions, 3 for Ward, 2 for Amisoni. Scudero, who now may be done in San Jose State, he had 4 receptions for 57 yards. I would be surprised if a big P4 doesn't come and scoop this kid up. Chavez Soto, who once he got the carries this year, had a really nice season. 9 carries for 59 yards, and Teyu had the rushing touchdown. Pollard had the pick 6 for San Jose State. Really the only major upside positive for this entire game with the Spartans was a pick 6 for Pollard. Lynch, the kicker, just continuing to struggle here. He misses a 43-yarder, and just a Spartan team that was not what I was expecting to see throughout this whole season. Walker Eget, really the only major kind of positive of this, although I do appreciate what some of these young running backs did. But they have a lot of work to do here in San Jose to get ready for next season. Let's get to the last game of the regular season in the Mountain West and for college football, going until about 1:30 a.m. on the East Coast. Hawaii 27, Wyoming 7. The only Wyoming touchdown coming at the beginning of the game on a pick six from Jones Thomas. Again, he's opening that scoring. After that, all Hawaii. Total yards in this game, 417 to 256. Wyoming on third down, 3 of 15. Ouch. Alejado was 17 of 24 for 289. 2 touchdowns and an interception. Receiving TDs went to Harris and Barfield. Harris finishing the game with 153 yards on 4 receptions. This kid is awesome. I hope he stays there with Hawaii. Love to see him and Alejado at it again next year. Barfield, as I mentioned, had a receiving touchdown. He also had 2 other catches, total of 17 yards. He ran the ball 15 times for 77 yards and another touchdown on the ground. The Tokyo Toe here, unfortunately, misses a field goal in this game after being perfect throughout the whole season. He's graduating out of Hawaii. I think we're going to see the Tokyo Toe in the NFL. Love the story on this kid. Wyoming here, they played a lot of Drube in this game. Drube at quarterback, more than I expected. He finished 17 of 32 for 179 yards and an interception. Also ran the ball 11 times for 15 yards. Not a bad outing for a kid that probably didn't expect to be playing much and this much by the end of this season, at least not coming into the season. A lot of people were wondering how much they would use him here. And Caden Anderson started this game, but they quickly phased him out and went to Drube, and he had the majority of the offense here in this in terms of being under center. The Pokes did not have Tote Harris. They did not have Chris Durr for this one. DeBlanc and Gillenborg were the leading receivers. They had 4 and 6 catches respectively. Both finished with 39 yards. Sandvik missed his lone field goal. So the offense is shut out. They get no offensive points in this. And over the final 4 games of the season, the Pokes offense scores only 17 points. Ouch. That is not what I was expecting coming into this season with this offense. Way too much talent from some of these players to not be able to score some points. So, as I mentioned, the Spartans have a lot of work to do over the offseason. The Pokes have a lot of offensive work to do over the offseason because their defense, they were top 25 scoring defense in the nation. They've got that side of the ball completely figured out. They've got to fix this offensive side. So now we go to the championship game Friday night, UNLV at Boise State. Yes, we had to go to the 4 tiebreaker here. The metrics for 4 teams as the tiebreaker. I've done several different pods on that. If you want to hear that deep dive, you can listen to those pods. I'm not going to get over it or go through it now. But UNLV traveling to Boise State Friday night. This game will be on Fox, the main Fox channel. Super excited. We get round 3 years in a row of the Rebels versus the Broncos, and we'll see what happens there on the blue. And Maddox Madsen is eyeing a return for this game. So anxious to see this game. Love my Mountain West football. With that, hey, I thank you guys for watching this. We are going to be picking every FBS championship game on our live show this Wednesday. Also going to start diving into Mountain West men's basketball here a little bit deeper than we have in the past. We will be showing a live Mountain West basketball game live stream on our channel tomorrow night, UC San Diego versus Nevada. So make sure you tune back for live Mountain West basketball on the Big Mountain. With that, hey, thank you guys for watching this. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.